Hello everyone, my name is Wang and I'm an HCI researcher from Google Research India. I'm delighted to present our work, Whose AI Dream in Search of Aspiration in Data Annotation to you today. And this is work done by me, my colleague Shantanu and Nithya. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, and Internet of Things have already been on a fast-growing trajectory with wide applications in healthcare, education, entertainment, finance, and more. The COVID pandemic has further accelerated the pace of AI adoption. Such AI boom further increased the need for data that's fundamental to the development of AI and machine learning models. Data annotation and labeling work has historically been dependent and carried out by independent workers on crowd work platforms. There has been a rise in private annotation firms dedicated to providing data labeling and annotation services. These third-party companies take up contracts for such work in bulk and employ thousands of full-time staff for annotation work. And this rapid growth has been well reflected in the data annotation market projection. We can see it from the huge numbers that's listed here. And various government has also picked up the signal that both India and Chinese government have picked up the importance of data annotation to both job generation and poverty alleviation. And we know that the human in the loop is here to stay, that rather than being simply displaced, we are seeing the professionalization of data annotation at both organizational and individual level. Prior HCI and CSCW work has examined the experiences of platform-based workers. However, we know little about organized data annotation work. How do material, infrastructural, and organizational factors of data annotation firms affect the workers and affect the data? In this paper, we investigate the work practices concerning data annotation as performed in the industry in India. Our work further motivates the critical mode of inquiry into organization of work and labor in data production and how they spread or evolve into other forms across the gig economy. For this paper, we conducted interviews with the annotators, the annotation managers, and AI practitioners. The interviews with the annotators form the basis for our paper. For many, being an annotator seemed to provide the gateway to AI industry. It is common for data annotation companies to leverage the booming AI industry in their job advertisement. From our interview, we were surprised to learn that most of our participants have a bachelor degree in STEM subjects, and even one have a master degree in computer science. Additionally, there is this technical round during their interview to test their coding ability, which is not necessary at all for annotation tasks. Despite the emphasis on technical eligibility, relevant past experience is not valued. Once recruited, the annotators will usually receive two kinds of training, the orientation one and the pre-project training. During the orientation training, the emphasis is on getting them familiarized with the work interfaces and annotation work in general, while the project one is project-focused, specific annotation tasks. Despite the interest that annotators have in AI and its close relevance to their work, there's very little coverage of AI during the training. And the training quality varies from company to company, that not all the firms provide adequate training before dropping the annotators to the tasks. A day in an annotator's life starts from 8 to 9 a.m. in the morning. They work 8 to 10 hours to complete their daily tasks. Before the pandemic, they work on site, and during the pandemic, many of them work from home. And when the question occurs during their work, they can only report it through the pecking order using the company communication tools. Towards the end of their day, they send their work in for quality check, and they work in a group of 4 to 5 under one quality check. We contend in our paper with more detail that being an annotator or working on annotation tasks is more than technical, that it is a constant exercise of power through the organizational hierarchy. We know that annotators are chasing an ever-increasing daily target. There's a repercussion for missing such target, but no rewards for making or exceeding the target. The career perspective as an annotator is very limited, as they work on this hierarchy with a huge bottom and a tiny top. Despite the market growth, long-term job stability for them is still very low. The annotators, of course, share a mixed view about the work they have and also their career and annotation industry in general. The majority of our participants we spoke to were attracted to the field of annotation under the impression that they were working on machine learning, AI, and autonomous vehicle projects, though the line of work they do is critical to the success of such models, which were built on and tested upon the data that they annotate. Such success has little impact on their personal pursuit of AI and machine learning dream, that they were far from becoming the engineers that they hoped to be one day. The irony on the image depicted in the image on the right well captured irony in data annotation industry as well. This leaves us to ask the questions that who benefits from such work and who gets the labor for it. Also, where does this leave the annotators when their work is contributing to the elimination of their career? The work we do contends to provide a sensibility of data annotation industry in general before we provide more specific designs and tools. That currently, the emphasis of data quality puts dramatic pressure on the annotators. How we measure the quality at the moment speaks nothing towards the annotators' experiences or the skills they bring to the tasks. It is merely a performance metric. The transition from crowd work to full-time employment does not make the jobs they do more visible. The benefit of a fast-growing industry does not really translate to the improvement of the annotator's job. We learn that though the annotators see their job with a very mixed view, many still see the value in the work they do, and this value ought to be recognized by more than just the annotators themselves. What we ought to do is to provide a viable transitional path for the annotators to follow their dreams into becoming a recognized part of the AI production. And with that said, we end our presentation, and thank you for your attention.